Let's start.
Yeah, the speaker of the first session has joined today. I'll begin today's program. On behalf of Women's Cell, Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, I welcome you all to this interactive session on Women's Day. The day marks a call to gender equal world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination, and one that is diverse, equitable, inclusive, while differences are valued and celebrated. The United Nations theme for this year's observance is Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow in recognition and celebration of the women and girls who are leading the charge on climate adaptation and response to honor their leadership and contribution towards a sustainable future. Our first speaker of today is Ms. Nandini Chakraborty. She is currently working as a self-employed lawyer practicing in Alipur Judges Court. Previously, ma'am was employed in West Bengal Essential Commodities Service as legal assistant. She is also a member of Alipur Bar Association. Ma'am, please welcome. You can begin your session.
Thank you. A very good afternoon to all of you, especially Mr. Principal Ma'am, who has again given me the opportunity to present the lecture in this platform, and to the entire JIS group. Very happy Women's Day to all the women employees and to everybody. See, any society that fails to harness the energy and creativity of women is at a huge disadvantage in the modern world. Because these days, women are equally participating in all the activities, be it indoor and be it outdoor activities. In the indoor activities, now actually previously we used to say that she is housewife. No, this is our wrong definition being false to our mother or any inmates of our house. But by occupation, she is a housewife. This is how she's earning her occupation. The first thing we should address our respected ladies who are not working as by occupation they are is housewives and like that. So I decided that how the movement of the International Women's Day began. It means it is a long way. The celebration of National Women's Day did not just come up at one go. It took a very long process because women are actually considered as a means a gendered means very much who is very that we it is a natural output. If we go to the ethics also, we find that there are substances where women are actually looked down upon. 1980s, marked the streets of New York wanting the right to vote. And that's when the right to vote, it was also a long struggle.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. Ma'am, could you please switch on your video? Switch on your camera, please.
Oh, okay. Let me try. Can you say this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So back in 1908, 60,000 women marched together to the streets of New York demanding the right to vote. History tells us how thousands of women have changed and reshaped the world from time to time with their struggle, with their demands. And if we don't make demands before the male-dominated society, we cannot earn our rights. In order to earn our rights, we had to fought a long way. A long fighting process has come upon in order to attain women emancipation. But are we really emancipated? Did we achieve the place where we would supposed to go? Yes, we are coming out to work. We have been given the right to vote. We are working with other male colleagues in our workplace, be it office, be it board, be it in schools, be it colleges. But still, we find that women are looked down upon by many male colleagues. So here comes the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement actually is originated in New York and in Yeah, it started in about 2018, and even before the Me Too movement, there is a leading case because I'm from a background to say the law has been shaped in our country in order to give in order to give women the rights which they deserve. That is the Bhanwari Devi case. The Bhanwari Devi actually, she is a law, that she was a Dalit lady, was working as a government employee, and she was working for spreading awareness about the dowry, that against the dowry death and against dowry and against child marriage. And and we know in the remote villages, even today, how the Dalits are looked down upon and how they are being treated. And especially a Dalit woman is doing this kind of movement in order to suppress her, in order to stop her. What they did, a group of men just lynched her and raped her. And still she did not give out her fighting. It took long 52 hours to lodge a criminal complaint of rape against the evildoers, against the wrongdoers. Can you just imagine? And it is coming the Vishaka guidelines. Then after the this Rajasthan High Court has convicted the the accused persons, but the conviction was not for rape. It was something less than that. So she did not get the proper justice. And then after a group of women filed a public interest litigation. Public interest litigation means public spirited person who can initiate litigation for anything ill happening in the society. Filed the public interest litigation, those are called the Vishaka movement. That is called the Vishaka movement, and from there some guidelines have been provided. Now we can see in every workplace it has a mandate. The Supreme Court of India, the apex court, has made it compulsory to obey the Vishaka guidelines. So from Vishaka guidelines is that prevention of that sexual harassment of women. This act has come into existence. That is the and this act and this what was the that impact of that if any woman is working at any place and if any fellow employee teases that woman or disturbs that woman in any this way, and specific guidelines I can just means say a few these guidelines which are provided this by the Vishaka uh, this means from the Vishaka movement that if there are even in any that any such kind of lewd remark, bad remark, any physical contact and nonsense, remark just for sexual favors, and any sexually colored remark, showing pornography or any other unwelcome physical, verbal conduct or which is in a sexual color, then that women can go before the committee and can initiate proceeding against the concerned person, and the employer will help the employee in order to get her justice. So to some extent, we can say this is that the rights of the women are recognized, but still the problem of dowry death still persists in the remote parts or even from this well-to-do family. When I means being a practicing lawyer, I can say even today the problems of the dowry death, child marriage is still persisting. And on top of that, what has come to my notice that during this 2 years lockdown, almost for 2 years we had faced this lockdown. In this lockdown period, the domestic violence has increased manyfold because after this the lockdown, most of the cases that I have been getting are mostly the divorce cases and the cases which are coming sprouting from the domestic violence. This is see, women should be given protection in the offices, outside home, and as well as inside home where she is residing, be it her partner, be it her husband, be any pets with whom she is sharing the household. And for that, the protection of women Against Domestic Violence Act has come into existence. And in this Domestic Violence Act, the women can get her desired right, that is the right to residence, right for protection, and there the women officer will be there. She will take the cognizance of the case and she will give a report. She will directly, because it means directly to the victim of domestic abuse to see that what are the things has happened. But in Domestic Violence Act, the protection officer, there is a women protection officer, and the women protection officer gives a report, and according to the report, the proceedings, the further proceedings of the case is highly dependent on the report of the domestic of protection officer. So we can see that even today, female suicide and child marriage, child sexual abuse, and one more act I would like to mention, that is the POSCO Act, Prevention of Children from Sexual Abuse. This act is a very vital act. This is a blessing, we can say, because when we grow up to adult, we can raise our voice. We can understand that what is happening with us, how our rights are being deprived, how we are being suppressed, or how we are being exploited or manipulated by others. But children can raise their voice. They don't even know what is a sexual touch, or that what is the intention of that person. That is a POSCO Act has been implemented, and it is doing really pretty good in the, and the court for these POSCO cases is such in a child friendly manner the proceedings are carried on. So I'd like to just say that female feticide is also one of the biggest problems. See, what we see that in certain parts of this northern India, that that during pregnancy, the sex determination test is being concluded by giving bribe or something like that, and for that reason, female feticide act is there. But still, the society is fighting this kind of, what to say, social evils. We are going towards the development in all spheres, and if the equality of this men, women is not there, the society will reach its goal. And on top of that, in order to the solution for all these problems is that our educated society can only bring an end to this kind of menace that is prevailing in the society. And, this country National Commission for Women is also very important, because when a complaint is lodged before the National Commission for this women, in those cases, they review the existing provision, they take up the cases of the violation, because the women can approach. If they see that their rights have been this highly deprived, they are not getting justice, they can even move to the National Commission for these women. They call for special studies, undertake promotional and educational research, and participate and this advice, investigate the case, and they provide guidelines to the state government and the central government also. And to the conclusion, I would like to say that Indian criminal law has substantive components and policies to deal with the offenses against women. This is true. Some practices, malpractices are there, but actually we have the legislation. If the problem is addressed at proper time, we have the mechanism to fight with all these kind of problems in order to attain gender equality. Because see, when a child is born, it is the hope, it is the dream and aspiration of each and every parent to grow that child, be it a male, be it means in the educated society, it would be that to establish that child, and we feel like that the child should be established, be it this boy child or a girl child in the society, and her rights or his rights are not deprived. So all this dream of social equality is achieved in fullest sense, and Article 21 of the Constitution, which provides that the right to equality is totally justified in society. I'd like to conclude my speech here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insightful words. I guess the students have new ideas to learn from. If you have any questions, participants, you can please ask.
Everyone is free to ask questions.
Or you can give your own ideas, or this is an interactive session,
Yeah,
so you
of
can
course, of course. They can come up with their own ideas. Then, what is the legal perspective is prevailing in our society in India? What is the legal this means the remedy? Those things can be discussed. We must see that male chauvinism should be stopped. Male domination should be stopped. Women should no longer be suppressed in the society. Men are these women are equal in the society. And when this one anyone passing off these young students and this joining any avocations or any industry, this whatsoever, they must see that the Vishaka committee is there, and if they have any problem, they are free to go to that committee and they can address his or his her grievances like that. That sale is a mandate in each and every this means be it this education institutions or in the offices, this society, this committee is means the constitution committee is a compulsion.
Ma'am, I would request you to please wait for the debate competition. Next speaker is about for the slogan competition. Our next speaker is about to join soon. We'll begin with the next session.
Okay, okay. Then I'm switching off my camera.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Our second speaker has joined. Dr. Shujashika Dash is currently Assistant Professor in Management Department in GIS University. Ma'am has a PhD from IIT Kharagpur. She has 9 years of corporate and academic experience. To her credit, she has more than 30 research papers and book chapters on women empowerment in Sundarban area. Please welcome ma'am. You can begin your session.
Thank you so much. First of all, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. Ma'am, you're requested to switch on your camera if that is possible.
Actually, I'm talking from my mobile, We are having a program out here also, so I couldn't join from laptop. So
Okay,
that's why.
actually, ma'am, we need just one screenshot. So if for a minute is that, if it would be nice if
One
you do.
screenshot is okay.
Yeah.
Is
Ma'am, I would
fine
request
enough?
the host. Yeah. Okay. You can continue.
If I hold it, I cannot.
It's okay, ma'am.
Can I
If it
put
is
it off now?
yeah, you can put it off.
Yes, yes. So, very good afternoon, and a very happy Women's Day to one and all present out here. Actually, we were also having a program since 10 o'clock in the morning. So even I'm not sure like what I'm going to speak. I'm running since 10 o'clock in the morning. But okay, coming back to International Women's Day, it actually started in 1908 when the mounting oppression and the inequality against women forced the females to come ahead and praise for campaigns calling the change. At that point of time, around 15,000 women marched through the New York City demanding shorter hours, a better pay, and voting rights because for the same hours of working, they used to get less pay than the males out there, right? So it all started for a better pay and shorter hours of work by few female workers, more than 100, rather more than, right, 1908, as I said. Then what happened? In 1910, an international conference of working women was held in Copenhagen, where Miss Clara Zetkin, who actually came up with this idea of International Women's Day. Now, then in 1975 and 1977, United Nations started celebrating Women's Day, and now it is celebrated in more than 75 places, 75 countries throughout the world. But this is more, these are more Google given stories. So everyone can Google all this thing and get it. I had some different idea because since morning I was listening to a lot talking about gender equality and talking about gender equality and women's rights, etc., etc. I thought people must be bored. So why not let's talk about some, or let's do some story sessions, right? So I thought of talking about woman empowerment as it is depicted in many of the Indian mythological stories. Now, as we say, Ramayana, Mahabharata, stories of Buddha, they actually were not stories. It happened at some point of time in our motherland. So call it mythology, call it old Indian system. But yes, if we really go through all this, we can see their position of woman. Yes, it was not as smooth as you might think, but yes, it was not as threatening as it is now. Let's talk about, I'll start with Buddha, right? Now, when Buddha left his wife and son, and he left his house, his kingdom, to search for moksha, he wouldn't have got his enlightenment if there was not two females' contribution were there. Now, who are these two females? These two females were, number one was, there was a story of Shujata. There was a lady, a little girl, who offered him some sweet meat while, and after having that, he actually realized that he has reached, or he has reached that level of enlightenment or self-actualization. And but he couldn't really realize it, and he couldn't really feel it from inside, and he needed an assurance at that point of time, and there was no one around. At that point of time, another lady came up, and that is the motherland, or Dharitri Mata, as we say. And Buddha shared his first feeling of enlightenment to get the assurance from Dharitri Mata, who assured him, like, yes, this is the stage of self-actualization people look for, people strive for, but you have actually received it. So even behind Buddha, who we actually think like has left everything, it was a contribution of two females to reach to that height where he was. Now, let me talk about Ramayana a little bit. A lot of characters are there. Of course, Sita is there. I won't talk about Sita right now. Let me talk about one character you might know, might not. That is Shanta. Any one of you know who Shanta was? Now, Shanta was Rama's sister. Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughuno. They had two sisters also, whose name were never ever mentioned in Ramayana. Not even Valmiki's Ramayana. We get to know all this from Puranas. And Shanta was the daughter, or Rama's sister, Rama Lakshman's sister. And when Ram went for 14 years with Lakshman followed him, Bharat was here, of course, but Bharat had put two of Ram's paduka, and he was, he was not in a really in a position. He was so sad. He could not really run the show of running the country. At that point of time, Shanta was the person who helped Dasharath to run the show, to run the country. She had extremely good administrative mind. And when Rama, Lakshmana, and Bharata were not there, she was the lady who helped that big country to go forward. Let's talk about Surpanakha. I think all of you have heard about Surpanakha. See, the females were so much empowered at that time, at the time of mythology also, that she could come forward and she could propose Lakshmana, even knowing that they do not belong to the same caste or creed, because she belonged to the Rakshasa, and this Lakshmana was from a king clan. But even then, she could come, and she could come in different attire and propose Lakshmana so that she can get married to him. So, even in today's world, we claim ourselves to be so much modern. But if one female or one girl goes and propose a gentleman, many eyebrows will be raised, like, wow, what type of a girl she is, what type of a female she is. So, but at that point of time, the world was such an open one. Talk about Mandodari. Again, I think all of you know about Mandodari. Mandodari was Ravana's wife. Mondadori was always aware of Ravana's, whatever wrong works Ravana used to do. Now, Ravana was, as it is, a very good gentleman. He was a devotee. But whatever Ravana did with Sita, Mondadori was aware of everything. And Mondadori always, after being aware, in today's world, if we come to know about our husbands doing something like that, we would directly go to the court. But at that point of time, think how intelligent that lady was. Mondadori could save Sita from the hands of Ravana. She made different stories, she made different situations where when Ravana ultimately went to kill Sita because Sita was not ready to get married to Ravana, Mandadari actually stopped Ravana and could save Sita from the hand of Ravana. So, and then of course, Mandadari again got back to Ravana till he was killed later on. Sita does not need much mention because Sita we all know. But again, think of a lady at that point of time who actually leaving all the precious thing, all the luxury of a king's house, went to the jungle with Rama for 14 years just because she loved him blindly. And when she came back from Lanka, it was Rama who questioned her entity, like whether you are pure or not. So she listened to Rama's words, she went through the fire, etc. But she did not come back to Ram. She went back alone to bring up love and Kush. And think of a single mother at that point of time also. Now we boast a lot. Like, I'm a single mother, I'm raising my son, my daughter all alone with all our, I work for them. Think of a situation thousands and thousands years before. She was a single mother who single-handedly raised these two children. And that too were in a, not in a very luxurious manner because she didn't have money or she was not in the king's house at that point of time. Coming back to Mahabharata, we have, of course, Draupadi, Draupadi was another very strong woman. Though she loved only Arjuna, but she actually listened and she had 5 husbands. But she never wanted that. But think of again, at that was a time again, thousands and thousands years before, these ladies had the privilege of choosing their husband in Sayambar Savas. So the different kings used to come down, and it was the females, it used to be the princes who used to choose the kings. So nowadays, can you think of a place where any one of our female members standing and 10 males are coming and we are choosing, no, you are the right person, no, you are the wrong person? No, we cannot. So think our earlier generation, thousands and thousands of years ago, were so modern. We talk about modernization now. We talk about wearing miniskirts. We talk about artificial intelligence. We talk about so many things. But think of the mindset they had at that point of time. While I talk like this, I'll mention about Rukmini. Rukmini was Krishna's wife. Krishna had 8 wives. Rukmini was one of them. The other 7 came, Krishna stayed with them for some time, but they left. But Rukmini is the only one who stayed with Krishna throughout the entire period. And wherever Krishna had any problem, with any other wives or any other situation. It was Rukmini who always used to go as a savior of Krishna. Now, we again cannot think of such an open mind in today's world. Can we do that? No, we cannot. So it was much more acceptance, much more open world, and females had the right to do whatever actually they want. So while I talk about Rukmini, I should also mention Radha. Radha was Krishna's aunt. Like if you talk about Bengali, she was Mami. Radha was Ayan Ghosh's wife, who used to be Krishna's Mami. At the same time, Radha Krishna epic, I do not need to tell anyone. So she had that much of courage to come in front of the world with almost a nephew, you can say, and actually do whatever she thought was right at that point of time. Because she loved Krishna and Krishna loved her back, she thought this would be the right thing to do at that point of time. So again, and the world accepted them too. So it is not only their courage, but the world was such open, they accepted. Think about Behula and Savitri. Both these ladies, their husbands were somehow or the other, they were sick. One was bitten by snake. So they had different situations. But both these ladies, they and the whole family, they said like, we cannot do anything. These two ladies took all alone all the pain to go away from the family and save their husbands. So nowadays, what we talk always, like we always need a husband who is going to save us. Think of these situations where the females came as savior of the males. It's not the males who came as savior. Talk about mathematics, talk about astrology or astronomy. These were the two most interesting subject at that point of time. Here also, the two females, Khona, who could have told the like where the sun or the position of the moon and the stars, everything, and she was here, and she never learned it from someone. Yes, but actually she did everything herself, and she became such a good astronomer and astrologer at that point of time. She could say anything which is related to the position of the different stars and planets, etc. Similarly, with Kadombori, the mathematics grew in this land, our motherland. So there are thousands and thousands of names like this. So I said I'll speak for 10, 12 minutes. I've already spoken. I've got a long list of such empowered females uh, who were there in Indian mythology and who actually worked just opposite to what our society is doing today, right? So it is not uh, that women are really weak, a weaker section. That's many people think of. It is our later on societal norms which had made the whole male female relationship and the societal position of the female weaker. We try to portray the females weaker so that we can have matriarchal societies. The males can dominate the whole world better. But at the end of the day, I would like to say one word only. See, we talk about gender equality. No, we are not equal. We will never ever be equal. How can a man and a woman be equal? We are created in different way. We are created to complement each other. We can do, the females can do such things which the males can never do. We can create a family. At the same time, whatever males can do, we cannot do all alone. So we are complementing each other. We are never ever equal to each other. And to sustain this world, we need equal contribution from both males and females, so that the Purush and Prakriti, this eternal symbol, exists forever. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for the new insights, for seeing the Indian mythology in a new perspective. Participants, do you have any questions or observations? You can please speak or type in the chat box. I would request our two speakers to please stay connected with us. We'll begin our slogan writing competition. The students have submitted their slogan. So I would request the host, Madhumita ma'am, to please share the presentation. Okay, so now Tanisha ma'am will take over and conduct the slogan writing competition. We have shortlisted 12 entries from a long list that the students had submitted. So I would request the judges to choose one of the entries as the winner, and they can WhatsApp me or they can mail me. So Tanisha ma'am, please take over.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll start reading out the slogans written by our participants. The first slogan was submitted by Amrita Pradhan, mechanical second year. She has written, "Gender equality is not a woman's issue, it is a human issue. It affects us all. Who is a man and who is a woman? Are we not one?" So this was the first one. The next one is by Shubhanil Kaur, electrical first year. He has written, "গড়তে হবে, মানতে হবে, মহিলাদের সমান অধিকার দিতে হবে." The third one is by Tanmoy Dash, civil second year. "Treat every man and every woman as a human. Neither is superior nor better, nor more intelligent, nor more hardworking." Our fourth participant, Triyasha Bharat, CSC second year, she has written, "A woman is a country's fate. Do not put her life at stake." The next one is by Rupayan Haldar, electrical first year. He has written, "ওঠো জাগো মা সংসারকে রক্ষা করো তোমার শক্ত হাতে." The sixth one is written by Abdul Bari, electrical third year. He has written, "উন্নত দেশ গড়তে নারী শক্তির ভূমিকা অপরিহার্য." উন্নত দেশ গড়তে নারী শক্তির, this is the sixth one. And the next one, I'll ask Madhumita ma'am to change the slide. Okay. The next one is by Rahul Shen, CSC second year. He has written, "Human as a whole equals the society. Women achieving the helm of prevalence, narrow spectrum inequality. Societal norms lets us down every housemaker's bright dreams, making them question their capability." The eighth one is by Sheikh Rajibur Rahman, electrical third year. He has written, "রূপে গুণে কথায় ও কাজে অদ্বিতীয়া তুমি সে বঙ্গ নারী, তোমার উপমা যে শুধুই তুমি." Our next participant, Suparna Manna, ECE third year, she has written, "It is not a matter of male, female, or transgender. Every human soul deserves to be treated well and equally." Our 10th participant, Debojyoti Roy, he is from ECE third year. He has written, "Gender equality is a human right, not a woman, transgender, or man's fight." The 11th one is by Shayandeep Mondal, electrical third year. He has written, "পুরুষতান্ত্রিক সমাজ তাই পুরুষকে বড় করে, জেনে রাখো ওই পুরুষকে নারী গর্ভে ধারণ করে। ভারত মাতা সেও নারী, নারী জগদ্ধাত্রী, নারী হলো এই জগতের সবার জন্মদাত্রী." And the last one is by Dhruvo Purkait, electrical third year. He has written that নারী শক্তি সেই শক্তি যে শক্তির বিশ্বের সর্বোত্তম প্রাণশক্তির জন্মদাত্রী. So this was all we have got from our participants, and I'll ask our judges to pass any comments or if they have any concerns about the slogans, please share with us.
All the slogans were very well written, but I liked one on the first page, something regarding fate. Yeah, a woman is a country's fate. Do not put her life at stake. I like this. Short and crisp, but good one.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Show the second slide.
I'll ask the host to show the second slide.
Yeah, this I have got it. 10th one is also good. Gender equality is a human right, not a women, transgender, or a man fight.
Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
this
Thank
is
you.
also good.
So do we have two winners then?
Yes, this can be jointly made winners.
Or you can like decide and like mail us later your like
No, no,
final decision.
you can make joint winners, no?
Okay,
Not a
ma'am.
problem.
Sure. So the first one and the 10th one.
Yeah, 10th one.
Okay.
10th one and that fate one.
Okay. Fourth one. The fourth and 10th one.
Both, yeah, the fate one.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable judgment and giving your time to us. I would like to thank our principal, ma'am, for her constant support, the speakers for their presence, and the participants for joining and taking active participation in this slogan writing competition. With this, we would end our first session. Our next session will begin at 4. So I request the participants to stay connected as the next speaker will join shortly. Good afternoon, everybody. Our next speaker has joined. Dr. Rakesh Kumar Dhar Dubey is a Dean of School of Management and School of Judicial Sciences, JIS University. Prior to JIS University, he has led IM of colleges as a director in Ghaziabad. He has published in national and internationally renowned journals. He was also a member of the Jharkhand Bar Association, Richmond Fellowship, and others. He is Vice President of Rashtriya Hit Foundation, an organization for social cause. Sir, we are very glad to have you here. Please welcome, and you can continue with your session.
Okay, am I visible?
Yes, sir, you are visible.
Thank you very much. Actually, give me a little time. Yes. Uh, Very good evening to all of you, one and all, present here in this webinar. And on this special day, that is International Women's Day, I really extend my hearty greetings to each and every female employees specifically. I know this is one of the extensions of JIS University. So again, I think we are in the same family. So this is again another kind of bonding which I really cherish and appreciate. So with this International Women's Day, the opportunity that you people have provided me, I'm really thankful for this. This International Women's Day that we celebrate, basically, there was one lady posed this for the very first time when there was one conference, international conference for women, which started in Copenhagen. It was a kind of proposal from her, and this was somehow consolidated, and 2011, 8th of March, it was the date which was decided. Later on, United Nations in 1975 with some other formalities, it consolidated at the final day, that is 8th of March every year, to be celebrated as International Women's Day. So the thing is, like, why we are celebrating this Women's Day? Then it happened like when in the function, in the it was like discussion was to share the happiness, share the pains, share everything that every female actually faced. So for this very reason, they finally decided to why not to come up with some platform where we can actually share ourselves, our every emotions. So this began with this very important agenda. But if we speak about Indian context, Indian context, there is a vast differences contextually. If we speak about other countries, Western world and India, though this International Women's Day that we are celebrating, it is basically at the global level, and females from all around the world is actually united for this very reason, celebrating this very important day. But why? What personally I believe and I think is like women are just a part of our half world, and I think without a female in any household, the house can't be complete. Likewise, the society can never be complete, nation can never be complete, and world can't be complete. So in that context, we understand that woman is just another part, another half part of the entire humanity. And when they come together, the entire world becomes complete. This is what is the entire story. But, with the times, changing times, there are so many, suppressions or so many other kind of activities which came in being. And somehow this, other half part of our world has been, you can't, we say like, it is just like a matter of extreme concern that has emerged like. And for this very reason, so many other causes came in between. Human rights also came in being. I remember that it was somewhere in a discussion about human rights. But what I feel that human rights, which started from 1779 when French Revolution emerged, and in that French Revolution, the entire powers were consolidated and centralized with Louis XVI. He was the emperor at that time. Nobody was having any gaining power, bargaining power, and to gain their personal rights and anything. So the French Revolution emerged, and it erupted, and people were actually demanding for this, rights for humanity, human rights, and for this, they win with the victory. They could finalize their rights in terms of human rights. Later on, this human rights was taken in most of the constitutions of various nationalities. And in India also, in Indian constitution, we find that human rights is actually giving privileges to every sector of the society, every irrespective of caste, creed, sex, whatever. So it is basically speaking about humanity. But otherwise, if we speak about Indian Constitution also, it provides with facilities like all Indians are equal. In Indian Constitution, there is Article 14, which actually gives the equal status, irrespective of caste, creed, gender. And Article 15(1) is also one of the special act, which special article, which again it is providing the facility that irrespective of your place of birth, of your gender, your caste, your creed, you falling in the political within the political boundary of India, you are actually having the equal rights reserved for every opportunity and every facilities, every privileges. But we are, this is a very fancy world. This is something that we know that these are the laws which are safeguarding our rights, and it is actually facilitating every, but actual thing is far away. If we speak about what is the originality, so even we see in the far-flung areas of remote village areas, we'll find there is no equal opportunity for females. Even the Orthodox family, Orthodox society, there are many, they are not sending their girl child to school education, the primary education, what to talk about the very higher education. So they are not bothered about, even government is facilitating with so much of, investing so much on education. There is a scholarship scheme. There is something very important government has facilitated in all government schools, free of cost education, especially to girl child. But these Orthodox society actually has suppressed because of maybe some or the other honor related, so-called honor related issues, and because there are many issues which have emerged. Even if we introspect in our historical part, some very previous ancient India, and if we speak about the Vedic period, the Vedic period, there is one very old saying in Sanskrit, That is, yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devata. Yatrai tatsu na pujyate sarvastata tra phala kriya. This gives a sense, in English if we translate it, this gives a sense that in any household where females are given due honor and regard, the divinity blossoms automatically in the house. And if in case the females are dishonored, then all actions, maybe whatever high level of efforts are being put, all efforts basically go very unfruitful. So this is very, old saying. And during those contemporary times, I do mean to say, there were greatest, female heroines of our glorified history that we can see, say, just like Ghosha, Lopa, Mudra, Maitreyi, Gargi, these were the greatest names of our ancient history. They have really served the society of those times, which are still remarkable in present times. They have been participating in every walk of life, with every shouldering with their male counterparts, giving suggestions most full of all wisdom, suggesting to even the ruling authorities, or sometimes they are being a part of the administration at the highest level. So this is how we can see the greatest examples, the historical examples of our very rich nation, which we are really proud of. Even today, if we say and if we see, our country is one of the finest land where still the balance is being maintained, because the value system that we are groomed up with is having a lot of differences in contrast to, you say, Western value system that we can compare it to. You see, the International Women's Day it is. So you see global, at the global periphery, you see the situations and the conditions of females there in Syria or Lebanon or Iraq, that is, or Afghanistan. That is a pathetic condition that the females are actually are with. Here at least we can see there is a fundamental rights which has facilitated us, irrespective of gender, right to speech and expression under Article 19. So despite giving equality, there is also that you can express yourself, express if there is any complaint for any system, or any complaint for any police administration or against the society, you can just raise your voice. That is what greatest facilities that we are having in our land, our country, the biggest democracy of the world that we can see. Now, if we compare it again, so there are countries, nationalities that we can see it is having a worst affected, areas and worst affected societies where women are not having any rights reserved for even to speak, to raise their voices, so it is always a disbalance. So here in India, just I quoted one shloka, which actually means a lot, that gives a sense that here in India, we always and already been giving a high regard and respect to females, our mothers. Even rituals, if we just in different communities that we see and celebrate, there is mother goddess like Shakti, like Vidya, that is Saraswati, that Lakshmi, all that we just say are female godheads, those who are actually being worshipped from entire humanity of the practitioners here on this land. So we just can see that we had, since our ancient times, we had been giving this kind of high regard and respect for our female counterparts. Even today, what we see and observe, that all those who are literate, good, highly literate people, they would never do anything wrong. It is only some harassments or some kinds of disparity, maybe only because of few reasons. Maybe number one, it may be kind of a greed. Another, it may be kind of orthodoxial approach of the society. Third, it may be like there may not be culturally high upbringing. That may be one of the reasons. There may be yet another so many reasons that we can just keep on counting. Because of those only, there is a disparity and there is a kind of inequality gender wise. So the biggest thing that we can see here at present today is like we can just see that how this could be actually considered to set it right. How, what could be the actions or plan of actions that could actually imbibe such kind of, so number one is the art, because education is something which transforms the life of an individual. It transforms the entire society and of course entire nation. So a nation can be very highly appraised and regarded only if the citizens of the nation are good, educated, highly educated, and of course with a proper value system which are imbibed in their attitude and behavior. Because this is the attitude which actually gives the sense of realization that to just distinct what is right and what is wrong. Because people, anybody who if can understand what is right, what he or she must not do, that is a kind of a self-policing on ourselves. That is not any police official from the administration to guard somebody or to protect somebody or to give a lesson of discipline. It must be self-discipline, and that will be only achieved if the person, if an individual is self highly keeping a high level of value system which can be supplied to him by the lessons of morality, by imbibing the moral value systems which will actually help person to act in certain behavior, certain manner, that he would be start keeping a high regard and respect for each and every individual in the society, irrespective of girl or boy, female or male, gender otherwise. It may be even for transgenders, if any. So there should be a kind of a sense of respect, because they may be because of some uh, godly punishment, maybe, but then after all, they may be a living beings. So it is always like we have to keep a high level of sensitivity, and this could be achieved only because of the high level of education. This year, this International Women's Day that we are talking about is having a special theme, that is gender equality today for sustainable tomorrow. It is also with other nomenclature that break the bias. So we had already discussed and explained about the biasness that may be because of many reasons that we discussed. Now, the thing is very importantly to see that institutions and school as well as universities are most responsible, primarily the household. But apart from that, institutions are primarily responsible to educate people in a right direction, to make them a good citizen, and to understand that each and every living being, human, also in that way and in that manner. So this is very important. And another thing is like every mother should actually give a lesson not only to their girl child but also to their boys, make them understand how to regard females. That is for sure, it is going to transform the entire life of an individual, and henceforth there would never be any kind of suppressing the other gender or creating a bias to one gender and giving privileges to another, like privileging the son and suppressing the daughter. It should not be like that. It is only the biggest factor that what we can understand is the education. So this is certainly going to transform the entire society. I'm not going to take much of your times, but this is very important. We few points that I mentioned is the Indian Constitution. Secondly, is how the human rights has facilitated the equal opportunities and had always raised a voice for every individual of the society, irrespective of gender or caste and creed. Thirdly is the education, which is very, very important, which can transform the lives of any individual and any society and any nation. We also see that government has invested a lot in this area, but it is our mindset whether we are actually moving towards. So with this very little, words, I would like to sum up. Thank you for your time and for the opportunity that you have provided to me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for your insightful words, sir. We are glad to have you here today. Participants, do you have any questions?
I would like to just reply if there is any question. They can also send me on chat box, or if there is any, you most welcome, and I will be more than happy to reply.
Participants, please respond. I think the participants do not have any question.
Oh.
So with this, we end our webinar today. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitudes towards all our speakers, for our principal madam, and all the members of our Women's Cell for making this webinar a success. Thank you.
Thank you very much.